Dawn spreads a thin gold ribbon across the lake. The water holds its breath. Nets lie slack and heavy with failure. Hands are raw from the rhythm of cast and haul, from the ache of trying and finding nothing. A voice carries from the shore, calm, ordinary, unhurried, try the right side. Shrugs, side glances, a throw. Rope whispers over wet wood. The net bites the surface, and then weight climbs the lines like a living thing. Palms burn, wrists bite, shoulders lean. Silence splits. Laughter shouting, disbelief flipping into delight. Someone starts counting because that is what fishermen do when wonder needs a ledger. 1, 5, 3. Not many, not countless. A number with sand on it. A number you can stack in a basket and carry to market. A number that looks like ink drying in the margin of a soaked notebook. 153 large fish, and the net does not break. Stay in the scene a moment longer. It is after the resurrection, but before normal makes sense. When the floor tilts, people reach for muscle memory, for boats and knots and the old cadence of pull and coil. All night, nothing. Every cast a question, every haul a shrug from the dark. Then morning arrives with a charcoal breath, a small fire already working on breakfast, bread waiting beside fish that did not come from their labor. The ordinary throw meets an unordinary weight. John's eyes sharpen. It is the Lord. Peter does not wait for a vote. He goes overboard, all urgency and water and hope. By the time the boat grinds into shallows, bread is passing hand to hand, and heat from the coals writes its warm sentence across their faces. They drag the catch to land. On the sand, they count because the market will ask, and crews must split shares, and details are where truth keeps its shape. 153, and the line that will not quit ringing. The net did not break. Why does the number matter? Because memory uses numbers as nails. You remember a gate at the airport, a room on a hospital floor, an exam score that bent a semester, an invoice that kept the lights on. Specifics carry story. Fishermen count, hands hurt, ledgers need ink. Buyers want clarity. We caught 153, says I was there. I smelled smoke and brine. I tasted wind. Rope cut grooves into my skin. We counted because disbelief leaves when data arrives. The smallest precise thing can carry the largest mercy, but the story is elastic enough to hold beauty beyond the ledger. Ancient readers loved patterns, and symbols were how they stretched meaning across time. Some said there were 153 kinds of fish in the world. Whether that taxonomy is science or song is not the center. The picture is simple and strong. All kinds gathered in one net, and the weave holds. Every tribe, accent, temper, and timetable pulled into one circle of rope without a rip. Whatever this message is, it can shoulder the weight of the world as it actually is, not as we wish it were. The net under strain does not snap. Capacity lives where fear predicted fracture. There is music in the math as well. Stack numbers 1 through 17. The sum walks dripping onto the beach. 153. 17 carries whispers. 10 had long stood for law, the sturdy rails and good bones that keep a people from sliding into ditches. 153 is a numerical curiosity whose digits, raised and summed, return to themselves. Is that the point? Number. Is it delightful? Yes. Wonder is allowed in serious places. It keeps the heart elastic enough to carry meaning without snapping into cynicism. A world without small delights is a world where big truths grow brittle. Listen for echoes that travel like sound across water. A prophet once saw a river pour from the temple and run towards salt water. Wherever the current went, life multiplied. Fish swarmed. Fishermen lined the banks shoulder to shoulder. Nets tugged at wrists. Trees on the shore grew leaves that healed nations. Night empty becomes morning full, and that river vision walks across centuries into breakfast on a beach. Only 2 charcoal fires are named in the story. At one, Peter denies, and smoke clings to his failure. At the other, he is fed, and the same smell now holds mercy. Places carry memory. God often rewrites scenes with the same props and a different ending. Numbers do this also. Room 402, where a child came crying into the world. Invoice 117, the one that rescued Rent. 1 minute 53, a hard split that an athlete carries like a metal pressed into muscle. None of those numbers are magical, but all are sacramental because they hold meaning inside small, ordinary shells. Keep value moving every minute. Eyewitness detail builds trust. 153 sounds like testimony, not trivia. Symbolic fullness builds hope. All kinds can fit in the weave can hold. Capacity builds courage. The net did not break, and maybe neither will you. Provision before performance builds rest. Fish sizzled before fish arrived. Work with wonder builds dignity. They still cast, hauled, and counted. Muscle shook hands with miracle. Redemption of place builds healing. The same charcoal smell staged a new script. Harmony of law and spirit builds balance. Bones and breath on the same team. Now carry it into your morning, where the numbers shout. You count calories and steps and unread messages and late fees and days since you last slept easy. You count views and leads and invoices and rejections and the minutes a client stays on the call before saying, "We will circle back." We live by numbers and sometimes feel like we die by them. Let a number carry wonder too. Let it carry kindness and promise and presence. Sometimes the point is not the figure on the page, but the fire on the beach. Not the metric, but the meal. Not the graph, but the grace. A few small stories to keep in your pocket. A father remembers the digits above a hospital door because joy cut them into the timber of his mind. A shopkeeper remembers a single invoice because it turned panic into rent paid and lights kept on. A runner remembers an odd time because earned effort rarely lands on clean edges. A manager remembers a head count from the first team she led because each person became a paragraph in a longer book. These numbers are not passwords to a secret club. They are anchors for a life that moves fast. Skeptics belong in the boat. Is this numerology? Number. It is noticing. Patterns show up. We do not have to force them with white knuckles. Could 153 simply be a count? Yes. The simplest reading is often the strongest. Does meaning ride on memory? Often. In real life, the figures we remember usually have a face standing beside them. Hold the caution gently but firmly. If you stare at the numbers so hard you miss the person on the shore, you solve a riddle and skip a meal. Return to the sand, because repetition helps truth set its roots. Taste salt in the air. See lips moving while hands sort silver flashes into piles that grow into proof. 1, 5, 3, bread tears. Warmth passes from palm to palm. Silence thins. A smile breaks it. Come and eat. Later there will be hard, healing talk. 3 questions, 3 answers. Love rebuilt over splinters. Later there will be assignments and roads and courage. But first breakfast, but first grace. Practical lines to thread through a fast day. Inbox spikes to a number that scowls. Whisper the sentence. The net did not break. A project feels like a lake of empty. Cast once more. Not frantic, but steady. The smell of a place drags you toward an old failure. Look for today's charcoal fire and let the same scent hold a different story. Your team feels thin. Name the weight and then name the weave. Tell them the net can hold. Comparison pushes its cold thumb on your chest. Count something good, not to boast, but to anchor. When the meeting runs long and the goalposts skate away, breathe and repeat the line until your shoulders drop. Pack a compact kit you can carry anywhere. 153 sounds like a witness, not a wizard. The catch pictures all kinds held without tearing. Bones of law and breath of spirit work on the same crew. Grace cooks early. Provision often shows up before performance. Your net can hold more than your fear believes. Repeat them until they feel like the rhythm of oars. Turn them into breath prayers you can say between floors in an elevator or between reps on the mat. There will be objections, and you can answer cleanly. Feels like overthinking. Here is the simple form. They caught a lot, they counted, it stuck, and the net did not break. Feels too soft for a hard week. Capacity is not soft. Unbroken nets are built to carry strain. I have cast all night. Sometimes the difference is a voice on the shore and a throw to the other side. I am tired of hoping. Borrow the hope of a line older than your fatigue and let it lead you to breakfast. Test the frame on ordinary ground. You are building a pitch deck and the deadline moved up. Your draft looks like a net full of holes. Cast on the right, name the 3 sentences you must land, write them large and let every slide serve them. The net may not break. You are training and the scale mocks you, and the mirror is a poor prophet. Cast on the right, measure effort and habits instead of mood, and let numbers be anchors instead of judges. The net may not break. You are not promised to surge on every toss. The lake keeps its mysteries. What you are given is presence on the shore, a voice worth trusting, and the capacity line that refuses to leave. The net did not break. Hold it like a stone in your pocket. Put it on your lock screen. Say it before the pitch. Breathe it when your throat tightens and your chest learns how to unclench. Let it free you to cast again without the panic that ruins form and steals strength. End where the day began, on the beach with smoke in your hair and salt on your lips. The small number remains small and refuses to become an idol. It does not need to. Its job is to anchor wonder to a moment that happened in a world where wood splinters and rope cuts and fires hiss and bread tears. 153 large fish, a net under load and yet unbroken. Abundance without tearing, fullness without loss, presence before performance, breakfast before business, and a simple, stubborn promise strong enough to be a refrain for the rest of your week. The net did not break. Take heart.